Alright, I have power coatings and combination materials to make more of them. And there you go. I think we are very much ready to go. I will get rid of the on-screen chat button because it is unsightly. And I will probably organize my beverage as well. I don't know if I'm even going to show the Freedom 1 stuff. I'm not too sure. It depends on how entertaining or unentertaining it is. But anyway, my beverage today is one that I have never had on camera before. Not just the specific beverage, but in fact the style. This is... the bottle that I hold here is not extremely special, but you know, it's from a microbrewery. It's technically local, only insofar as the state is concerned. It is in my state of Australia, but still quite far away from where I live. It's a microbrewery called Stone Dog Meadery. Yes, this is a bottle of mead that I hold in my hand. And, or hands, I suppose. I'm holding it with two hands because it's apparently very special. This particular one is called Son of Odin. It is the Session Mead. It's probably the standard release that they have. It says, an ancient glass for modern times. You can probably see from the label that it's definitely a microbrewery. Pretty, I guess, lo-fi, to phrase it in that way. Not literally, because you wouldn't, there's nothing relating to fidelity here, but you know what I mean when I say lo-fi. Low budget, perhaps, we could say. My only grievance... Mizuhara is already dead, which is... and Draver is dead as well. This is extraordinary. They've only been engaged in the fight for what I can assume is about 30 seconds, and they're both dead. Wow. Maybe I should have been there. Anyway, my only grievance with this label, and I wouldn't accept this as a review of the beer itself, because obviously the most important thing for any beverage is the flavour of the beverage, not the label on the bottle. But I don't think I'm incorrect in saying that this is written in a papyrus font. Why? Why? Anyway, it's strange. Why? It's only half as bad. It is as much as half as bad as using Comic Sans, so, which is not a compliment. Alright, let's pour this. Now, I haven't had much mead in my life. I acquired this bottle from a medieval fair that I went to yesterday, locally. It was at a local bowling club. They had set up the bowling green with medieval stalls, and it was nice. I enjoyed it, and they had mead. It was largely why I decided to attend. I thought, well, they've got mead, so I'm going to check it out and taste some mead for the first time. Now, I have minimal experience with mead, because included in the ingredients list usually is honey, and I incorrectly thought that that would make it a rather sweet beverage, but it's not true, because you see, they incorporate the honey into the fermentation process, or the brewing, whatever you want to say, which therefore means that a lot of the sweetness is taken out of it. So, no, there might be flavors of honey there, but it's not so much the sweetness that remains. I got a message on my Discord, which is actually distracting. Someone sent a message in the welcome chat, I don't know why. Let me go back to the game now. In typical Huntsdiverse fashion, a trap has been placed and then promptly abandoned, which is just lovely to see. But yeah, mead is this, I don't know if it's typical of the style, but very low carbonation, which is nice. I think there's, more traditional ales as well, are usually very low in carbonation, and it's refreshing. I don't mind it at all. You can obviously see that there's no froth at all. No froth. I'd say it's probably a halfway point between beer and wine in terms of flavor and I guess the mouth feel, if that's something that's used in critiquing beer or drinks, mouthfeel, I'd say that's probably fair enough. There is definitely a mouthfeel associated with most beverages, alcoholic or otherwise. And, yeah, I would say that it's pleasing, and it's a little different. Something a little different is welcome. Whether or not this is a particularly good mead, I couldn't say, because I have, as I mentioned, basically no prior experience to drinking mead before having consumed this one. So there you go. So you haven't actually tried mead either, A-Gaming. I thought that you would have tried mead, because you yourself are quite a drinker, as am I, but it is true that mead is not a typical beverage that you find hanging around. The largest retailer, or one of the largest retailers of alcohol in Australia, has one mead. One. So, yeah, it's not a common beverage to find. Oh, you've tried mead. You know, it astounds me that you are familiar with local beers in Australia despite not living in Australia. It's very, very strange to me that you know of Stone Dog. Like, they're like literally a microbrewery in the middle of New South Wales. So, well, not in the middle. It's probably more appropriate to say the south. Sort of southwest, getting towards the centre. I don't know. Point is, it's what I would assume to be fairly unknown outside of Australia. You had Swedish mead, well that's probably quite good, whatever that is. They would have more of a history of brewing mead than Australians, unsurprisingly. Not that that always means all that much. I'm sure people in a country with history can still fuck up an old tradition. It is the acquisition of the old knowledge that matters, not so much the implementation, or that is to say, the implementation can be bad, no matter where you are, which was a strange way of explaining what I was trying to get across, but anyway. Well, that's a very expensive mead. $90 fucking dollars. Well, this was not that expensive. Although, you know, mildly expensive. It's $10 for a bottle. Could be worse. Could also be cheaper. I really have to say that this team is not having an easy time of it. I'm seeing Mizuhara drop to almost no health repeatedly, and I feel like we only just scraped by, despite the fact that the monster was dead very quickly. But anyway. Yeah, it's funny, when you actually look at it, it appears more like a cider. It's nice to drink it again after I've taken the time to assimilate the flavors from yesterday, of which there were many. I got, I was about to say I got shit-faced. I did not get shit-faced. I had a very large amount of peanut butter porter while I was attending the medieval fair. I don't think that peanut butter porter is very medieval, but that's what was there. It was actually the bowling club. They had that on tap, and my partner and I tried it. We'd seen it around, and we tried it, and we went, we are going to continue drinking this. And we did. Very much so. And, yeah, it was a good day. Good day. A lot of fun. No, I did not get shit-faced. But I was informed that my eyes were starting to glaze over. You should do vlogs of historical places. You have the voice for it. I can't really see myself doing a vlog format, but I understand what you mean when you say that. I would like to go to historical places. I have an interest in that. Not a knowledge of it. Typically, when you have an interest in something, you naturally develop a knowledge as well, but I don't. I feel like there's a lot of detail to history, whether it be old architecture, the ways of life, things like that. I wouldn't say that I've amassed a huge knowledge base of things of that sort, but I do definitely have an interest in historic things. I will eat while we establish what the next hunt is going to be. I don't know what it is going to be, actually. And maybe, just because I'm feeling charitable, I will change the stream info, because I don't want to confuse people joining. This isn't Freedom 1! I don't know, apparently that's what people would sound like. It would make strange heaving noises, as I have just done. Alright, Freedom Unite. It will have to be changed again when the VOD rolls up. I don't really know what I'm saying. When the VOD appears after the recording on Twitch, it will have to be changed again. Or perhaps I won't change it. Because does it really matter? Not really. Oh, I didn't change the title. Silly me. That's the most important part. Or is it? Probably not. Actually, no, it would be the game in the write-up. No, I did change the name. I'm selling myself short. I'm selling myself short on that one. I'm more switched on than I thought. Whoa. Having some World War II era French wine this Friday. Yeah, I do envy you and the beverages you consume. You are either affluent or spend a lot more money on alcohol than I would be personally willing to spend. I'm not going to say that I go for quantity over quality, but it would be accurate to say that, you know, I can't spend lots of money on alcohol because I drink at a volume and at a pace that it wouldn't be appropriate. I wouldn't be able to savor it. I'm not much of a wine drinker, though. I like a good white wine, but generally no. Alright, let's try to figure out what we're doing, because I'm the only one in this room, and... oh no. No. There are actually two people in this room. Do you recall that Mizuhara took quite some time to appear? Before the last quest? Well, he's in this room, I just can't see him. Which is stupid. But whatever. I will just demonstrate what I mean. So you could see that there were two of us. But now, this should show something a little different. Yeah, 3. Oh no, it seems that Mizuhara has left, so now there should actually be 3. That's confusing. Deca, of course, reacting with a disgusted cat face. For no particular reason, that's just how he expresses himself. He expresses himself through emotes that don't actually relate to the situation at hand. That's kind of what he's like. I was pinged in Freedom 1. Sorry I was AFK. In response to the... anyway, it doesn't matter. I am not hunting there because I don't want to. I'm hunting in Freedom Unite now, and I'm glad that I am. We were going to do Fatalis anyway, and to be honest, that's miserable. I understand maybe some of you haven't seen me fight. Really? Again? Fuck. I understand that you guys perhaps haven't seen me fight Fatalis in Freedom 1. Or maybe you have, I don't remember. Actually, I have done Fatalis in Monster Hunter Portable, specifically. But, yeah, I haven't done it very much. So, I understand maybe you'd like to see it, but you shouldn't like to see it, actually. I wouldn't recommend that you have that desire, because it's not good. Alright, we're going to bring evasion, because that is really the only viable option if I were to go longsword, and it is what I wanted to use. I would like to bring a longsword, although I don't want to bring the Wailing Cleaver Shin. That is the most boring weapon to possibly equip. I could bring the Pirate J sword just for a bit of fun, but I would instead like to kill this monster as quickly as possible, because I don't have much faith in this team. Or at least not much faith in Mizuhara. Alright. Actually, I should have checked to make sure that this set wasn't weapon dependent. I should know myself, yeah. I know myself better than that. Alright. I know better than to do that, because I routinely do not make weapon-dependent Blade Master sets. That's quite disgusting and off-putting. The convenience of not having to swap decorations around, quite frankly, is more valuable to me than getting an extra armor skill by requiring slots in the weapon. It is, however, a separate issue if you're making an armor set specifically for one weapon and you have no intention of using any other weapon with that set. That's fine. That's essentially what one would do with a gunner set, which is not inappropriate at all. I'm not going to paintball you because I haven't the need. Alright, I will have to pay attention to the fact that I need to evade. I say that because I don't usually use evasion loadouts. So, you see what I mean? I don't know if I could have delayed my roll there. I may have missed an opportunity, but at any rate. I'm just out of practice with using evasion loadouts. I don't think you guys have even seen me use an evasion loadout. That's how infrequently I do it. And I don't even have a memory of doing it on camera. So, I pressed the button, man. Did you see that I stopped sprinting it so that I could evade through it normally rather than dive? And yet, pressing the button did not do anything. Doomlink's blaming the game, that's right. Sure fucking am. What's going on? And I'm going away. Somewhere far away from the monster. I can see someone's using a poison weapon. Where is it? Oh, it wasn't a weapon, it was an ear prey doing his work. Very well. Alright. I've got a bit of a different setup at the moment. I've actually got speakers set up instead of using... I'm just getting a quick combo out here. It's not typically what I do in these older games. Yeah, I've got speakers set up behind me. It's a little bit disorienting to have the sound coming behind me instead of in front of me. But I'll get used to it, I'm sure. Well, I'm not making much use of this evasion, am I? The last time I used evasion, pretty much at all, was back in Monster Hunter Tri. So, same out of practice would be an understatement. But I'll try to get myself organised. See, like, if you've got evasion +2, you don't need much timing. You just need to roll, as opposed to not roll, right? So it's not challenging. I'm just a dolt. Alright, definitely time to sharpen up. I did not bring sonic bombs because I'm negligent. Routinely negligent. Yikex has broken off, sadly. I think I can guess why, actually. It's probably due to poor connectivity between himself and Mizuhara. Because the only person here with really poor connection is Mizuhara, and usually if you've got someone with a really bad connection, it does cause general instability among hunters in terms of their connectivity, so... yeah. No big surprise, but it is still unfortunate. I should be doing my 2 overhead swings. That's kind of silly of me to not be doing them. I'm foregoing damage needlessly. Oh, that's a capture attempt, and he's not capturable. I suppose he would be close, but... aha! There we are. Good guess. I'm glad that that was faster than last time. Well, of course it was. I was actually contributing this time, whereas last time I was busy pouring my beer and talking about the Stone Dog Meadery microbrewery using papyrus font on their beer labels. I have to say, the sound of a Plesioth sleeping is really unpleasant. Sort of a whistling sound. I don't need to hear that. I could live life very well without knowing the sound of a Plesioth sleeping. Sounds like my uncle. That's the thing, it sounds a little bit too human, doesn't it? There's something that I had heard a long time ago, which I have not heard since then, was that the Capcom usually takes audio samples from animals at a zoo and incorporates that into the sound design behind monster noises. You know, monster roars, for example. So I wonder how they got the sleeping sounds. The reason why I mention that is because when I say that the sleeping sound is a bit human, or sounds rather human, maybe it was a human making that noise. Who knows? Maybe not everything is based on animal noises. If these guys want to do Plesioth again, I will be quite miffed, and I'll tell you why. I was informed that we were doing random hunts. Now, 2 Plesioth in a row doesn't sound very random to me. That sounds like someone grinding for Plesioth materials. I could be going crazy, or I could be dead right. So... yeah, I haven't really looked into the sound design behind video games, but I did hear, for Monster Hunter specifically, that is what Capcom generally did. They'd go to the zoo and get samples of, you know, lions, I would imagine, and similar creatures. And if you wonder if they would have done it in an ethical fashion, I would doubt that they would have done. It's just from my experience of visiting a zoo in Japan. Then, well, I mean that was 13 years ago, but still, I can't imagine things having changed that much culturally. Anyway, I'm sure there are some. This wasn't in a touristy location, you see. This was, you know, somewhere that only local Japanese would visit. And it wasn't very nice. It was not exactly what you'd call world class, and let's just say I witnessed a man and his girlfriend throwing rocks at a lion that was sleeping to make it do something, so, yeah. And there were other things as well, but Yeah. I saw 3 kangaroos, or maybe 2. At least 3 kangaroos that looked really unwell. They were not looked after at all. And it was... I wouldn't go so far as to say it was distressing, because they weren't... They didn't seem like they were being mistreated, specifically, but they didn't look healthy either. It was... yeah, not great. Yeah, I agree, P-Berry. Descendants of the King. Well, at least it's not Plesioth. Bloody hell. Alright, so I've got a few options for what I could use. I don't really know what I want to use. How about I use a lance? I don't usually lance when doing Descendants of the Kings, so it might be a pleasant change of arrangements. Change of tack. I pressed triangle to travel. For goodness sake. I do need a new controller. Hey, Amatori. I wouldn't even hunt with you, much less carry you, so I don't know what sort of fantasy you're having. Nagaku Ka? I still need to figure out a way to refer to you. Probably by a name that you wouldn't like, ideally. Hey Baines, good to see you. Haven't seen you for quite some time. Yes, perhaps I did play with you before. I don't know, I'm not really keeping track. Based on my current mood, I would not go out of my way to hunt with you. Alright. I think we are good to go. No, we are not good to go. I will actually attempt to contribute here by bringing flash bombs. That's a friendly way to join in the hunt. Actually using my own flash bombs as well as relying on other people's. I guess there are concerns about doubling up. Sometimes you get multiple people throwing flash bombs at one time, which is a little bit of a waste. But we're not going to go so far as to coordinate who throws the flash bombs when, so that's inevitable. I don't know what I even want to take here. Oh, well, actually, someone who didn't bring flash bombs can pick up the flash bombs. Looks like I'm going to be hosting. So we start with Rathalos, and the reason why is because he has... I can see that D-Life is not actually keeping track of the... What? Keeping track of the standard. Or come to think of it, we should have actually explained to everyone before we departed that we start with Rathalos. The reason why is because he has less health and will go down faster. In principle, it makes more sense, at least to me, to aim for the one that is less threatening. And, in my opinion... Oh, I see. Never mind, excuse me, D-Life was shooting sleep coatings. So that was actually very helpful. I made the assumption that D-Life was aiming for the wrong Wrath, but that was entirely intentional. And very helpful. I might get ready to throw another flash bomb. How long is... Or perhaps one was thrown not that long ago. Well, that's foolish of me. I can see Draver will probably be ready to throw one. In fact, he really is the designated flash bomb thrower, being the sword and shield user. Just by nature of the weapon. That immediate run. I was hoping that he would turn to face me, but he did not. That's why the flash bomb was off target. Now, if I were to bring what I would usually bring, which is auto-reload thunder shots, this would have probably been over already. Well, maybe not the entire hunt, but we would be much closer to the end of the hunt. What am I bouncing off? For goodness sake. Alright, he's dead. Oh, I can see we've got a sleep here. Well, I'll leave the wake up to Mizuhara. Bombs? You are going to wake up the monster with a trap. Do my eyes deceive me? Well, I suppose he has no idea that there is actually a wake-up hit bonus. It's not known to everyone, but that's pretty sad to see. I should have run in there and done a wake-up hit on the wing, but I was just so aghast at what I was seeing that I didn't react quickly enough. Yeah, not as many people use Lance in Freedom Unite. It's usually Hammer and Greatsword. Lance and Hunting Horn are probably the least frequent. Or the least used weapons, I should say more specifically. Alright, let me try and flash bomb. I can't dive quickly enough there. And I'm about to get a fireball in the face. Someone has diligently thrown a flash bomb. I'm not sure what the second flash bomb was for, because she was already flashed, so that was unnecessary and a waste of time. And she's dead. I'm pressing start to skip the death scenes because I've been playing too much Try recently. Alright, there we go. Didn't take too long. I have seen cleaner runs, but I wasn't playing all that well myself, so there's no need for me to be overly critical. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't play Freedom Unite, this is the main quest that everyone does to acquire the rare materials of both of these monsters. So that is Rathalos Heavenly Scale and Rathian Heavenly Scale. It's also good for rubies. Both of those two things drop very regularly. Yeah, I do play a lot of Try, Banes. I returned to an old character of mine. My original character was one that I lost, unfortunately. That was Hunter Rank 568. I'm currently working on a character that I made, I would say about 6 months before the server shut down. And that one's Hunter Rank 225, I think. Maybe it's 230 now. I think it's 230. As you can see, numerous rubies. Typically people are not in search of rubies when they do this quest, but if you do need rubies, this is a good quest to do. As evidenced by my reward screen. Yeah, I actually haven't played Try for about a week, but yeah, I've been playing a lot of it. I actually can't pull myself away from it. It's strange, there's like an addictive quality to Monster Hunter Try. It explains why I had put so much time into it back when it was new. Practically lived on that game. But yeah, we should definitely play Try if you're playing it. I'd probably wait until you were past HR 51, otherwise I might be a bit too strong for your progression, but that is assuming that you're not at HR 51. I didn't actually know you were playing, I haven't seen you around, so yeah. But if you are playing in high rank, then do let me know. Well, I don't know if we're actually doing random hunts. I feel like it's whatever the person hosting, and I haven't seen if there is a consistent host or not. It's probably whatever they feel like hunting, in accordance with what they need. It's not literally random hunts, like what would be generated from the random hunts command in Hunsterverse. So, whatever. I don't really care, as long as I'm not hunting the same thing repeatedly. I'm happy to lend assistance to people who need things from specific monsters. It's just, it does get a little bit boring if I have to hunt the same thing 3 times. I will accept twice in a row, but 3 times it gets a little bit too much. When you say older Monster Hunter games don't get me like they used to, do you mean that you don't enjoy it as much as you remember? That's what I take from what you've said. You could have meant something different, but... I find Monster Hunter Tri's progression to be... You feel like you miss something there. When you say old Monster Hunter, do you mean... like what generations? Because I know that you and I played first gen a bit, and I know that you do play third and second and other things. But are you saying you don't really enjoy older Monster Hunter at the moment? If so, then that's a shame. I didn't really think that that would be something to fall out of love with, but it is what it is. I might bring a Gunlance, which is a weird choice for Descendants of the King, yes. But, whatever. It's for my entertainment. High Volt Gunlance. Which, stupidly, did not exist in Monster Hunter Freedom 2. Oh, so you mean Alpha Team Monster Hunter. You don't like Alpha Team Monster Hunter. Have you played Monster Hunter 1 and G? Because they are very much in the same vein as DOS and Tri. I can see why perhaps you wouldn't enjoy those specific games as much anymore. Well, maybe not that aspect of it, but I guess I would understand that you would enjoy all of the other games, but not those, because they are different. I actually enjoy the way in which they're different. I think it adds to the experience rather than detracts from it, but I can also see why that difference might be perceived negatively by other people. Well, yeah. I'm shocked that you played the Wii version of G, that's quite funny. I don't know if there was any way to translate that, probably not. But, yeah, second of all, the content was low. Not as bad as Tri. I mean, that's the thing, Tri really had the lowest content. But it was understandable for first generation because it was the first generation of Monster Hunter. There were less monsters. It is repetitive, you know, when you've got so few monsters. And I do find, at least as far as the monsters are concerned, it is harder to go back to first generation because of that small number of monsters. If you're used to playing Freedom Unite, for example, at least when it comes to the monsters, first generation is quite repetitive, because they are monsters that you will have fought before, and many times before, but there aren't many of them to choose from, and that's a shame. I'm glad I was able to get that Wyvern Fire out. D-Life is now using a lance. Oops. There we go, there's a good knockdown. You could have actually positioned yourself so that you were not hitting me immediately. But anyway. That is not what happened, and I accept that. I won't shoot because, again, this is sort of a small body. It would be easy for me to accidentally shoot a teammate, so I will abstain from that. See if I can get a flash bomb out fast enough. I can see that there is a trap going out, but I don't know if we want to do that right now. Might not be worth it. Because the thing with Rathalos is that he's not that easy to get into a trap. He does a lot of flying, so I worry that we would end up standing around for a while not getting anything done. I think it's more efficient to just flash bomb. Having a hammer on hand really helps. Uh-oh! Rathian is tail flipping her husband in the face. Well, I don't know if they have that kind of relationship. Have they exchanged vows? I don't know. Do Wraths engage in matrimony? I don't know. But I'm sure someone's taken the time to do research on these things. Well, I have not been doing as much try or DOS as I would like to have been doing. I am not doing much try at the moment because I've played it a lot in my own time, so I'm not as interested in playing it live at this stage. And as for Monster Hunter DOS, I have not been playing much of that at all. I just realized that I have not as much desire to play DOS because it feels like content I've replayed so many times before in terms of the monsters. It's becoming too much. You know, think of how many times you fight those same monsters when you play Freedom Unite, Freedom 2, Monster Hunter Freedom 1, Monster Hunter 1, Monster Hunter G, and then again Monster Hunter DOS, not just in the village, but then again online. I mean, that's the chronological order in which I completed those games, and I'm telling you, fighting those fucking monsters starts to get boring. Like, really, really boring. It is nice to have a different village setup, and I enjoy Dundorma. But at this stage, I need to slow it down. I'm not having much fun fighting those monsters. It's really kind of awful. I think the most enjoyment I can get at the moment out of fighting those monsters is in Freedom Unite because of the amount of variety. Because there are a lot of monsters to choose from to sort of space out that repetition. So that's the way I feel about it. It's just less, you know, the replayability factor is there for literally different Monster Hunter games because they are the same monsters for the most part. Monster Hunter Frontier, of course, is like a whole new experience. I've played a little bit of Frontier. There are aspects of it that I don't like, but I have to say I am generally forgiving of things that I don't like about Frontier because it is not a mainline title. It is its own thing in its own little sandbox, I suppose. And yeah, I think it's interesting. I haven't gotten to the extreme style G-Rank gameplay. I don't think I would like that at all. That's my impression of it. But maybe I would get used to it. You know, sometimes the ultra anime craziness is something you can get used to if you become immersed in it for long enough. I haven't even given it a shot yet. I haven't reached that stage in the game, but yeah, there are some things about the progression that I don't enjoy in Monster Hunter Frontier. But generally speaking, it seems like a fun game. I don't mind it all that much. I don't really like all of the things that it reuses from Monster Hunter DOS because it makes DOS less special when Frontier uses, you know, similar music, similar quest complete, similar heads-up display. It takes away a little bit from the uniqueness of DOS when it's reused in that way, but I understand why they did it. Obviously it was based on DOS, but yeah. I do want to play more DOS, but I need to take my time with it. Because it's... You know, when I was going through the first 10 hunter ranks of DOS online, after I'd already done the same shit in the village, and I'd already fought these same monsters for so many Monster Hunter games prior to that point, I just realized, you know, I don't really want to go through the slog of getting through these hunter ranks right now. I'm sure I will at some point in time, but I don't have that desire. And I'm still ranking up through the online of Monster Hunter 1 every now and again, not all the time. Whenever I'm in the mood, or whenever I can actually get people to hunt with, which is easier said than done. You know, there's a lot of repetition now, and it weighs on you. It's weighing on me now, so that's why I'm not playing those games very much. Anyway, got 2 heavenly scales there. More of a typical reward screen that, or at least what one aspires to get when hunting in this quest. I hope that we will now do something different, because we've now done 2 of the same quest, which, as I've previously expressed, or explained, is the upper limit for what I'm willing to have on camera. Otherwise it gets a little bit too boring. Let's collect some more honey. And mushrooms. I'm not low on mushroom supplies, because I do collect my mushrooms every time I collect my honey. And I'm sure I would have a lot of bugs if I employed the same discipline to hitting the tree with the cat hammer. It's just that the tree's quite far, so I can't really be bothered going all that way every time. I sense, Baines, that you're talking about people that you... Like, let's say you routinely hunt with a group of people, or from within the same pool of people, but they end up playing the newest Monster Hunter game, and then you're left with no one to hunt with. I think there are always people around. If you're willing to hunt with completely random people you've never interacted with before, there's usually people around. I have to say, the only games that I struggle to find people to play within are the first and second gen games minus Freedom Unite. So that's basically Monster Hunter 1, Monster Hunter G, Monster Hunter DOS. Not so much Monster Hunter DOS, let's take that out, because the community is quite active. So just Monster Hunter 1, G, Freedom 1, and Freedom 2. Very quiet, very difficult to find people to play with. Freedom Unite, Portable Third, Try, DOS. Pretty easy to find people. I do find that 3 Ultimate is really only active during the European time zone, which is obviously fine for you, so that wouldn't be a point of complaint, but I don't think you play 3 Ultimate. If you do, then I apologise, and I've obviously forgotten that detail, but... yeah, I haven't really come across that difficulty that you're describing. It's only been the case with certain Monster Hunter games, but generally speaking, I do find that there are people who play the older games. Although 4 Ultimate has always had a weak community. 4 Ultimate's community has been weak from the beginning, and I understand why. It's because of the system requirements to actually play the game comfortably and with decent performance. You know, I have a top-of-the-line PC from 2017. Top of the line from 2017. And it's a 3DS game, and it doesn't run properly on my machine. So, you know, what the fuck? The requirements are high. So, I understand why that has reduced the number of players there. Or kept it small. Here we go again. Is there anyone else hunting? I'm not doing fucking Descendants of the King. It's not exciting. I have no need for the materials, and quite frankly, it's the same 2 monsters in an arena setting. That's boring to do repeatedly. can see someone's doing G7 quests. That, to me, means gathering hub 7 star. So... that's definitely not what I want to be doing. All of the other rooms are full. I'm stuck here, doing fucking Descent... not Descent. Descendants of the King. That's a different quest. That's Descent into Hades. That's... I mean, I'd be willing to do that, but... these guys seem quite comfortable doing this quest over and over and over again. I imagine that's because the rewards are good. Which is fair enough. Maybe I'll start selling the rewards. That could be a good idea. Get a bit of money out of it. That's something that I always have use for in this game. Money. I don't really want to bring a hunting horn. It's not going to contribute enough. At least not in my mind. Yeah, I'll bring a greatsword. How about that? I need to do a bit of a decoration swap, but that's okay. I still don't have the Thunder Greatsword that I wanted to make, which is the Kirin Thundersword. Ugh, what does that mean? Well, I've just been turned off from using Greatsword now. Because I don't want to use the King Atalant sword, it's boring. I've used the word boring a few times over the last few minutes. Which, in and of itself, is quite boring as well, haha. Repetitive, I guess we'll say. How about dual blades? Well, no, I want the ability to resist roars, so I will equip that loadout and find my divine power saws. My purple hand saws. I lowered the game volume a little bit, because I think it was slightly too loud. I have this, I wouldn't say it's an irrational fear, because it's actually entirely rational. If there's something wrong with the audio levels after the fact, I'm stuck with a VOD that have these audio levels. There's nothing I can do about it. It's all being recorded as one file. So, you know, I'm worried that maybe the game might drown me out. Mizuhara has lost connection, at least with me. So, it looked like a loss of connection because Mizuhara had joined up on a quest and then disappeared, so... hopefully this person can restore their connectivity to the room. And then we can get going. Unohana wasn't hunting with us before, so I hope someone hasn't just lost their space. I do need to keep an eye out for other rooms that I can join. Alright, Mizuhara is back. I do have to say, I have spoken ill of Mizuhara's contributions hitherto, specifically in Plesioth quests, but actually he's helping out a lot with that hammer. It's making a huge difference to the fight. It's keeping Rathalos in place frequently and consistently. I forgot to bring flash bombs. I hope that they're in the box. They are not in the box. Well, that means you have to fucking throw them, okay? If we go in here and you don't throw a flash bomb, it was going to be hard for you to throw a flash bomb at that point. Very good, thank you. There's Doomlink getting indignant before any malpractice has taken place. Anyway, that is me, that's the Doomlink special. Assuming the worst of hunters. Well, it depends on the community, doesn't it? In this community, yes, I do tend to assume the worst of hunters. I'm also deflecting my frustration over the fact that I didn't take flash bombs onto the team for some reason. Oh god. It was a very dramatic impact because there was a flash bomb at the same time as me getting hit by that fireball, which was cinematic, to say the least. You see how dangerous that fucking tail is during the stun? It's nasty. Yeah, Hunsterverse is a special place. You will have some of the most absurd interactions with people in Hunsterverse. Look, I'm sorry to say it, but, you know, that's free-to-play gaming. Literally, like, that's what you get. As they say, you get what you pay for, and these people aren't fucking paying, so that's what you get. And sometimes you get the bottom of the barrel of society. In many different countries, all interacting together in a melting pot of unfettered stupidity. I need to get away from this tale. It's very dangerous. But yeah, it's absolutely the case that most people who play Monster Hunter and are willing to go back to the older games, maybe not most people, but a good percentage of people who do, actually play with a group of friends, you know? They don't create the Monster Hunter community. They don't contribute to a community of people playing Monster Hunter. So the community actually becomes, for these older games, literally just people playing a free-to-play game, as far as they're concerned. That's what it's like. And I've encountered that. I would say most commonly among new players of Freedom Unite and Portable Third, they will play those games until they reach the Final Hunter rank. In some cases they will be boosted to the Final Hunter rank. And then they'll play for a very short time, and then, hand on heart, they will stop playing, never return, and seemingly will move on to the next free-to-play game to occupy their time. Which is so strange, because the Monster Hunter series it's kind of my gaming life. It has been for 14 years now. 14 years. And, you know, I can't imagine just treating this as another free-to-play game. Any of these games. So, yeah, it's really weird. But there's nothing you can do about it. I guess what I was trying to say was that the Monster Hunter community is exemplified by those people, by those large numbers of people who just play it because it's free to play and that's it. Yeah. I haven't played Onimusha, but I definitely grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh! I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Well, I did play Yu-Gi-Oh! Games that were much older, like PlayStation 2 era, and also original Nintendo DS. But Duel Links I picked up in 2017, and yeah, I became a little bit disillusioned by that game. They started to really mess with the balancing. But that's that. I had a little bit of fun with that. It's interesting, sometimes there's just so much fun associated with just getting into a duel. So you haven't fucking played a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel in a video game for so long. It's so fun to do that for the first time in several years. Just the sensation of it. You know. Go up against a computer, go up against a person, doesn't matter, it's just a lot of fun. And I'm not a particularly good Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, but you know. Some would argue that there's not that much skill involved. There can be skill. I guess the skill is in building a deck. That really is the skill. But you see, you can just go and copy someone else's deck, can't you? That's the silly thing. So really, the biggest skill when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Is something that you don't really have to develop on your own. You can just pick other people's decks and then, through using it, figure out how it operates. And then you can beat absolutely decimate some other poor soul who perhaps hasn't built a world-class deck based on someone else's skill. I don't really think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a very good card game, but it's fun. You know, I read the original manga, grew up with the anime, and it's fun. It's good fun. Don't take it too seriously. That's how I do Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I find it to be a very imbalanced game. I also find it extraordinary and confusing that they go to the trouble of making cards that are forbidden in competitions. It's like, why? Why have it? And then cards get added to the forbidden list. That makes sense. I get that. You know, cards over time being added to a forbidden list, but I'm pretty sure a lot of these cards are just made and then immediately placed on the forbidden list. It's so stupid. Maybe they're cards from the anime or something, but I don't think that's always the case. I'm not doing this again. I'm sorry, like, I don't even need this. Right? Like, if you need it, then good for you, but I really don't. So, I will try to find another group. It will be hard, I will struggle, but I will persist. Alright, I'm going to... And look, there's another room as well, so I'm in this room here. And we're doing Descendants of the King. These guys have a room dedicated to that hunt. And that's mostly full as well. I'm just going to cry out for help to these guys. I mean, I'm not really stuck in the room. I'm stuck in the sense that I'm live and have to continue hunting in order to provide that basic entertainment, but... Yeah, if they could, you know, get me in that room, that would be very much appreciated. We're a full party already. Well, Tech is sticking to his morals. I thought perhaps they'd be willing to close the room and make a new one with me in it, but I'm also not going to become indignant when I realise that they're not willing to do that. Alright, catch you later, P-Berry. I think you are about to miss the downtime. There's probably going to be some downtime. Why do I have 4 messages in bot commands? It must be all friendship point stuff. Oh, that is a GIF. Fortunately not too unsafe for work. Certainly suggestive. Well, I don't have another room to join. You know, like, what do I do? Do I just... Alright, we'll do another one. It's better to have a hunt instead of no hunt. If they end up departing without me, I will accept that. Or will I? You know what? I'm just going to let them know. I can't even bring myself to do it. Okay, now, should I start joining random rooms and hope that there is a space? I mean, what's happening with... there is a room that I could attempt to join. It's this one with 3 Jerry faces. That is Gathering Hub 18. What are they doing? Are they still full? So, I don't recognize any of these people. But that's normal. I thought this guy only played Portable Third. I don't think I've seen this guy playing Freedom Unite. If he wants to play, then I'll play with him. Or rather, I will beg him to play with me. I saw your live stream, he says in past tense. Well, I'm live now and trying to hunt something that isn't Descendants of the King. Again, I don't hold it against these people. I'm sure they need the materials, it's just boring. I will make a room if it looks like people will join. I will react to that with a thumbs up. Again, I don't hold it against them, it's just terribly boring. And uneventful when you've been doing it over and over and over again, and you don't even need it. Well, I'll just make a room. Well, I'll just say G-rank hunts. People are welcome to turn up and post things that they need. We don't just have to do literally random stuff. But using the random hunts system, in other words the bot, is helpful. It offloads that decision making onto something else. Alrighty, so let me just... Well, this set is fine. What hole was that put into? 22? I will sit in here and see if I can get people. In the meantime, I think I'll get another beer. It will be Sheaf Stout, I think. Hello, Wonderlord. It's a rather cute greeting that you've just sent in the chat. My left eye feels strange. Doomlink reporting the state of his biological situation to all of you. Alright, I'm sitting in this room now, hoping that there will actually be people around to come and hunt with me. I don't know. I haven't the choice. I had to either do this, or hunt Descendants of the King for a 5th time. Fuck that. I believe that was the 5th time. It felt like the 10th time, but I'm sure it was just the 5th. Might be able to get this fella. Fox Enjoyer, that's not his original name. He used to have a rather German name. But anyway. There are a lot of people hunting at the moment. Which is shocking because despite all of those people hunting, I really didn't have a room to join. They were all full, so there you go. Alright, I'll be back in a moment. I'm going to acquire a beverage. I'm back. Tell you what, Forget sleeping pills. Just drink one of these. That'll put you to sleep. Well, even 2 of them. This is my second one now. As well as the mead. Ugh. Nice, gentle sleep. It's a nice stout. It's not an amazing stout, but it's good. I think it's tasty. It's not very heavy, but... as far as its composition is concerned, I suppose stout is a heavier form of beer. Drinking it out of a... this is German, actually. A German man drinking out of a... well, presumably the glass that I'm holding. Yes, it's nice. So, we already have 1 taker. We also have... oh no, never mind. Fox Enjoy Himari is not going to join the room. He's saying... he's telling other people to join me so that he can watch a long stream. Which is fair enough. I guess he can't play. If he could, I'd imagine he would. Given the circumstances. So, anyway, we've got Cold Chicken. I don't know what his original name was. Maybe Orion or something like that. Sorry, Orion. Orion. He said that he will join if it's not full in 5 minutes. I would imagine that I would be lucky to get even 1 person in the next 5 minutes. Guys, there is people hacking here. I'm going to ask Weaver if he wants to play. He's apparently reporting someone in Gathering Hall 12 for hacking. Bro has red shit on low level. It might be possible. Might be able to get that from Nekot. Who knows? I don't. But I'd imagine that you can. No. Okay, so we've got 2 people joining in approximately 5 minutes. Well, one of them is probably closer to 2 minutes now, but looks like Himari is coming in 5 minutes from now, presumably. So, that's a good start. I've got 2 takers, we just need to be patient, which I can do. You know, I'm happy to work with people who express an interest. It's when no one expresses an interest and you're just sort of sitting around twiddling your thumbs. Or like that dark-haired man in the ponytail going like this. Which actually could be me. I could do a reenactment of that. I should do a reenactment of that. That would be a good idea. What an excellent idea. I'll have to film a reenactment of that scene. I don't know where it's from, but it's obviously been a pretty commonly posted meme for the last 10 years, I think. I seem to remember seeing it a while ago. It's had a bit of a renaissance. You see it more frequently these days than you used to. But, anyway. What is my absolute favourite monster? That would probably be Deviljay. Just from my experience of hunting him in Monster Hunter Tri. Why do I have a ping in the Thai language channel? Oh. It is indeed friendship points. I suppose I should have anticipated that. Oh, full room. I hope that's everyone. I hope that's all of the people who expressed an interest in joining. Because if it's not, then I don't know. Well, what should I do? I should really make some attempt to communicate with these people. That's what I really should do. Okay. 46 messages since I turned that off. Alright, so we've got 4 PM and Tifa. Himari is attempting to join. I don't even know who any of these people are. Like, between their name in the chat and their name in-game, that's not lining up at all. So I don't even know who to ask to go. I think it's... No, Orion is here. Okay. Alright. No, I think... It seems that Himari, who is attempting to join, is fine with not being here. He is content to just watch the stream. And quite frankly, that is the easiest thing. That's the... It's easy for me to accommodate. Now, random. We are going to do Child of Destruction. What joy. Luna equals Tifa. Yeah, okay. I'll make a fucking note of everyone's name, okay? Like I said, some people have as many as 3 different names. That's very difficult to keep track of, okay? I don't like that. It's confusing and bothersome. Alright, so Child of Destruction, I will go ranged because I'm in a ranged kind of mood. I will use Rapid Bow. As for which Rapid Bow, I need to make a decision on that. Do I have an Ice Rapid Bow? I don't think I do, actually. So I will just bring Exterminator. Exterminator. Which is French for... Doomlink can't speak French. I would neither want to give the impression that I can speak French, or that I think that I speak French. So, there you go. My place might get taken. Yes, it might. But that's the nature of the beast. I have to endure that all the time. I'm quite used to it now. Child of Destruction, here we go. Alright. I will ensure that I have as many cool drinks as I can carry, and as many power coatings as I can carry. Got some empty vials over here. Sorry, empty bottles, as the current translation team chooses to refer to them. Well, current, as in the game that I'm currently playing. Nitrogens. Alright. I would caution you, Baines. Don't welcome Nagakuka back. He is a meme lord. And not in a good way. I will actually visit the bathroom one more time. Better to do it now than, I don't know, hunt while needing to go. Might add a little bit of spice to my gameplay, but that wouldn't be overly comfortable for me, so I'll be back in just a sec. Okay, I'm back. Looks like one of our hunters is spending his time during, well, you can't really call this an intermission, we haven't begun yet, but he's taken this time to express disgust and a desire to vomit. Because apparently this is a download save gathering hub, which is news to me. I'm not going to try and figure out who has a downloaded save here, but anyway. It's quite an extreme reaction. A green face holding back a vomit. Yeah, well, believe it or not, Tifa is my #1 donator by a huge amount. Well, donator. He has this habit of gift subbing upwards of 30 people at a time. So, yeah, I'm not going to... I would not speak ill of such a person. Now, I probably should have brought combination materials for traps, but I have not done that. Because I'm negligent, as we have established. Let's not roll towards the creature. We want to roll away from it. I will say this as a disclaimer, and I will not mention it again. My controller sucks, my analog stick, specifically my left analog stick, is extremely inaccurate, so you're not going to see much hip firing from me. I will have to take the time to actually aim my shots. I will not mention it repeatedly because it's very annoying to listen to a person playing a game constantly complain about their controller. So I'm going to spare you all from that. I don't know if we should put down a trap. I will actually place a trap because... may as well. I don't often place traps, but this is one quest that I am happy to take the time to place a trap. And we've just lost one of our hunters, which has now... If you could get into that trap, Christ. I'm very annoyed because we now have only 3 out of 4 hunters making use of this trap. It's not good. I probably should have taken greater care. Just to sheathe my weapon to get out of the way of this monster after that trap. The difference between Gold Rajang in 2nd gen versus 4th gen, let me think. So, it's difficult to say, and the reason why is because I think there are differences between 2nd gen and 4th gen Rajang generally that I might confuse for being differences between the 2 gold variants. So for instance, you have a triple, like, slamming attack where he curls up into a ball and slams down on the ground. That's a 4th gen edition, so he has like a triple attack there, whereas in the 2nd gen games it's just a single slam attack. What else? Yeah, it's difficult to say. There are differences between Rajang in those 2 games, but you are right in saying that pretty much the difference between a standard and gold Rajang is the same in this game as it is in 4th generation. The only one that I can think of is that his fists do not harden in this game. His fists turn red and harden quite a bit in 4th generation. But as for moves, nothing springs to mind. You can see that there is a thunder effect on his fists as he swings them here as well. That's a visual difference. So that's 2 visual differences relating to the fists. So relevant enough. One thing that is quite difficult about an enraged Rajang in the 4th generation games is how he jumps into the air and turns himself before performing one of his laser beam attacks. Or his thunder lasers, I don't really know what to call it. That was fucking fast. Who's dealing all the damage here? I mean, I'm sure I was not completely ineffectual, but that was very quick. Are we... No, I'm sorry, that doesn't seem quite right. That doesn't seem quite right. It was pretty much 3 people fighting that whole time. Your host? I don't know. Are we really that strong? That was pretty much 3 of us. Are they cheating or what? You say check Luna's point of view, as if I can just do that. Yeah, hold on, let me shift into the camera angle of Luna. It's like, no, I can't do that. Anyway, that didn't seem legitimate. I suspect that someone was dealing a little bit too much damage. But that's just me. So the rewards are a bit pathetic, but that is what it is. Yes, but I mean, you say I'm a deputy, but I don't have any evidence to suggest that that was cheating. I mean, we could peer review it, but how do we know who was cheating? Well, maybe we were just effective. I know about what's possible, but I also know that it is much easier to be efficient when you solo a monster versus when you've got several people. That's because, you know, the monster is often not targeting you, which means you need to get in position all the time. You can't really predict what the monster's doing as easily as well as that, but if you insist that that was just the effectiveness of the team, then I'll accept it, but yeah. Just seemed a little fishy. You are... Okay, I'm going to stop reading your contribution seriously. That trap lasted like 3 seconds, so you are talking out of your ass. That is not where most of the damage came from if you had actually observed the confrontation. So, anyway. What have we got? Magazine, giant bird formation. So that's Blue Kutku, Gypsaurus, Hypnoc, and Yeongaruga. That sounds supremely unpleasant. But I guess we'll do it. Clarissa, actually, I can't even say your name. Clarissa. Your name is like if I took alphabet soup and just dumped it on the screen. Clarissa, at this stage I'm not going to assume that someone's cheating. I can't really know that for certain. Poison tends to be quite effective against most monsters in the game. Apparently the quest that was selected for us is being affectionately referred to as the KFC quest, which is probably acceptable, but it doesn't make this any more enjoyable. It's funnier, but still annoying. So, is there a common elemental weakness here? Not really. Not one that I'd be willing to equip a weapon for, so I might go with... Well, I don't have a raw sword and shield. I was tempted to use a raw sword and shield, so do you know what? I might bring the Rathian sword and shield. Sounds like fun to me. I think pretty much all of these... No, only... Yes, I will bring high-grade earplugs. Royal Rose. A lovely sword and shield. It's strange that they don't have the gold version in this game. I suppose in the mind of the developers, or in the minds of the developers, it would be confusing to have two different Gold Rathian sword and shields, one fire, one poison, despite the different appearances of the weapons, but anyway. I don't care, I'm not, yes, I don't have a different loadout. I have one loadout that resists roars because I'm not taking up 2 slots with 2 separate earplugs sets. Anyway, it's for the convenience, you see. It's all about the convenience. Magazine Giant Bird Formation. Now, I don't know how these monsters appear. If it's one at a time, this is going to be almost absurdly simple. A doddle, as they say, in the place where the English language began. Yes, I'm using Freedom Unite Complete. But it's the original version. It doesn't have any of the additional stuff that's been added, like eating in the hall, as you can tell. And killing Lao Shanlung early, or rather removing the threshold. He's not trolling, he's just annoying, that's how he communicates. His contributions are tiring to read, but they can occasionally be funny and helpful. So, at this stage, I'm permitting his interaction. I don't know if it would be beneficial or not for me to be hosting. Who would be most affected by a bad host? I suppose the bow users would be most affected. If they're head focused, but to be honest, it's fucking... It's the KFC quest, right? Most of these monsters are very easy. So it's worth mentioning that Sword and Shield is generally quite weak in this game. But if you've got something like the Royal Rose, you are going to make up for that lacking raw damage very easily, because poison is very strong in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. So, even if you're a person who abstains generally from using Sword and Shield in this game due to its weakness, this is a Sword and Shield that's worth using. Because of how much it poisons enemies. How quickly and efficiently it can get that done. Are you dead yet? I was just about able to get that sentence out before we had our answer. What do you drop? Mega potions? Yeah. Unsurprisingly, did not need to use one. I definitely have limited purple sharpness on this. Oh no, that's actually not too bad. It dropped as quickly as it did because it's a sword and shield. So our next monster, and I should mention that for quests like these, it does feel as if most of the time is spent waiting for the next fucking monster to appear. Next is Gypsaros. They're all going to fall very quickly, except for maybe Yangaruga, but he will probably take no more than 3 minutes. Although he will have heavily reduced health, because he's one of 4 monsters. So I anticipate that it will be almost as quick as the others. Just getting away from the wind pressure. There's plenty of that. Wouldn't mind to get an opportunity to hit that tail, but it's a little high for my sword and shield. But within reason. This quest will be over and done with very quickly, so I don't think it matters whether or not I can hit the tail. I can go for it. Maybe I should paintball to see if he's alive or dead. Now, is that a death? Let's find out. That, I think, is a death. I don't think the paintball is grey when he's faking death, so that should be a dead one, yeah. They managed to break the head as well, in that time. How about that? It is not strange that you can block a Gypsyros flash using a sword and shield. While I understand that the animation is not covering his face, within reason he can just raise his shield up to his face and protect his eyes. Are they going to make a special animation for a situation where you're shielding a flash as opposed to anything else? No. So yes, it makes plenty of sense that a sword and shield will block a flash. And if it is confusing to you, you definitely hold Monster Hunter to an unrealistically high standard of realism. I'm glad that I didn't actually fall within that splash area of the sleep. But you can see that splash area is quite large. The legendary endless fucking tail swing attack. It's almost one of the most effective things that the monster can do. Unless there are two people using bow. The hunters are superhuman, they don't need to blink. They've forgotten how to close their eyes. Oh, gross. I didn't remove the chat thing from my screen. Let's do that now. And by chat thing, you know what I mean. The meaning of my words should not be lost on you. Attack more powerful. This translation team's not winning any awards for their work. Here, protect. Yeah, the reason why it's all in very brief English is because they had a character limit, pretty much, for their translations. Which was a bit sad. Didn't have to be that way, but they were a bit bare bones with their work. Or maybe it's Capcom's fault for not providing them the tools to completely rewrite the translation. Alright, I definitely need to sharpen up. It is a young Garuga. He's fairly well armoured. Oh my god, I can't believe that foot managed to catch me. That's crazy. I will be carving for some Mega Potions this time. Is this Deadeye Garuga? Excuse me, one-eared Garuga, that's how he's traditionally referred to. Deadeye, no. Deadeye is the deviant. It looked like one ear Garuga, but then I realized, no, it's not. Because... yeah. Just getting my naming confused. I actually don't know what this monster's resistance to poison is like. What I can say is that I don't think he's been poisoned quite yet. So, he's definitely got good resistance to it. See, resistance can come in the form of the amount of damage taken and also how long it takes to build it up. Or at least in the later games. Don't know how it is in this game. I can't imagine poison does set damage, that would be stupid. But... from what I can tell, Garuga has pretty good resistance to it. Shockingly, more so than Gypsyros. Also, the hitbox on that tail swing is disgusting and actually makes me ill after having witnessed it. Lots of support from the team, though, after that nasty tail flip. That was the tastiest back fucking recital I've seen. That was delectable. That is the term that I will use to describe that recital. I've got my Mega Potions back. If you're wondering why I pressed start, it's because in another game that I frequently play, start actually does the round slash. That's try, specifically. See, the blood effect here is much more pronounced because one of the features of Freedom Unite Complete is that it... well, it's not a feature of Freedom Unite Complete, that's incorrect. Basically, Freedom Unite Complete is designed to work with Monster Hunter Portable 2nd G, the Japanese version. So it's actually a feature of the Japanese version of the game to have more pronounced blood effects. But to be honest, it's not something that I can even notice. I noticed the blood, but then I remembered, oh yeah, apparently the blood is more noticeable here than it would be in the other versions. As far as I'm concerned, it's negligible. Like, it doesn't mean anything. I can see a little bit more blood from the monsters. Great. But apparently some people do notice it, and I suppose I don't mean to dismiss that. It's just that I didn't immediately notice more blood when I started playing the Japanese version. Oh, okay. Next random hunt. Two Lavazioths. Excellent. What joy. I'll bring a greatsword. Let's do it. I like to live dangerously. What is my water greatsword? Plezioth Wave Blade. I'm trying to remember if there is a sleep variant to that in this game. Probably not. And if there is, it's not worth using. Yes, I understand that, strictly speaking, just theoretically, in concept, a sleep greatsword is pretty cool. Because you can, obviously, using that weapon, get a good wake up, naturally. But At least for someone who's playing in groups. In other words, not solo. Sleep is not all that viable here. In second generation Monster Hunter. Furthermore, applying status to a monster when you're using a weapon that hits as infrequently as a greatsword, I don't find that to be a good strategy either. I don't think this greatsword looks goofy. It's appropriately Japanese anime fucking video game weapon in appearance. That was a strange sentence, but my point is that it fits. It's not out of place. Where's 2 Lavazioth? What the fuck? Come on. Double Lavazioth? Where art thou? Apparently not here. Unless it's... No, I swear it's a non-rotating quest. Here we go. Wow, I was not anticipating it to be that low level. Strange. What am I missing from my inventory? What is this space here? What's that from? Obviously something that I consumed last quest, but I don't know what. I'm sure I won't miss it. Alright, so we've got Luna with what I would perceive to be the ideal water lance of the game. Ishar is content to use the same thing in every fucking hunt. I shouldn't be so venomous in my in my choice of words. People have the right to choose whatever they want for whatever hunt that they embark upon. It's just, I get pretty bored if I'm just using one weapon for every hunt. And that's me. I've seen people who are quite content to use the same loadout ad infinitum. It happens. It entirely depends on the person. And indeed, everyone's different. That is what makes the world so interesting. Okay, so it looks like Weaver is going to make it in. He's done doing this business. I think that's code for him watching a VTuber, which is so repugnant that the only way for me to be able to feel clean, yet simultaneously hunt with this person, is to just pretend that I never saw that. But apparently that is what he was occupying his time with prior to this point. And yes, now he should be joining us to play. I'm quite frightened. I think VTubing is here to stay. I think it's actually a thing. Well, who was the first one again? I forgot her name. She was... It was quite harmless when it was just her. I can't remember her name now. Started with A. What is VTubing? Yeah, what a question. I can't remember it. It was like Kizuna Ai, I think. Kizuna Ai? I remember when... I'm quite sure she was the first one. And I remember... You know, I thought it was an interesting idea. Kind of silly, not anything that I would watch, but... You know, fairly harmless. Yeah. Is that... Does that count? Well, it says in the Wikipedia article, the spearhead of the virtual YouTuber trend. Okay. Yeah, first appearance 2016. Yeah, late 2016. That was relatively harmless, but then when it became a big thing, and everyone got on board with it, it turned into quite a situation. It's something I like to give a wide berth. Weaver is apparently making his way into the room. There might be some kind of socially engineered confrontation between this guy and this guy to try and get the slaw. You see, this guy's trolling, so... Anyway. We shall see. We shall see. I will sleep soundly tonight. With this bill. I've talked about it before, but my phone battery has really reached the end of its life. It's becoming very hard to use it as my chat monitoring device. So I might have to start using my backup phone to do that. Just have to remember to keep that on charge. Whenever I decide that I want to use it, I haven't had it on charge and it's just dead. So, I really should start doing that. Who's Dynamic? Is that Weaver? I don't think that's Weaver. I think Weaver is either Weaver or something that I would recognize. So, it shouldn't be Dynamic. Why it's taking him so long, I don't know. Oh, actually, he never said that he was coming. He never said that he was coming. Let's just make this very clear. We've been sitting here waiting for someone who has never confirmed that they're on their way. He said, it looks like you're full already. Tifa messaged him, hopefully with @messaging enabled. Gave a reply, he's done, so 1 slot. Hand on heart, I didn't even know that that was Doffy. Like... What the fuck? Anyway. We're sitting here waiting for someone who may not actually turn up. Who is this? Hold on. You can't see. Who is this? We're going to find out. Probably someone with a totally different name on Discord to what their name in-game is. Let's find out. Oh, it's Cancer. I do know Cancer, because he's got a rather distasteful name. Sort of like the name that I'd come up with when I was in single digits, as far as my age is concerned. Alright, let's do some Lavazio. Someone was making a very suggestive moan. I was very close to imitating it, and then I decided that that would be something the internet really didn't have to hear or witness. But anyway. The point being that you already heard it there, so that really sufficed. That was enough. God, paintballs are so pathetic in 2nd generation. They really are. I mean, they don't travel at all. Whereas 3rd gen paintballs, I'm telling you, they're like throwing knives. It's like tossing a dagger. This is more realistic, but you didn't... Who needed realism in Monster Hunter, seriously? Who asked? Well, I did make the paintball hit the monster. I did it in quite an adroit manner, I would further add. Yeah, Greatsword is fun against Lavazio. You're taking a risk every time you go for that charge. I suppose that's a fair characterization of Greatsword, generally speaking, but the risk is much larger when you've got a fish flopping around, as you can see. Fortunately, that Dual Blades Wonder Boy flinched me at the perfect time. I don't know if that was Ishar or Sian or Slan. Is that Slan or Sian? It must be Slan. I can't imagine that's an uppercase I. That would be strange. Hello, Amelia. Doing alright. Finally getting into a hunt after having waited, to be honest, too long for a fourth person. Well, if that was an intentional flinch to get me to not be hit, that would be a very nice thing for that hunter to have done. I can't deny it. One monster left. You poor bastard. You had no hope, did you? Big Wyvern Stone. That is the most... I don't think I've ever been asked a question that generic in a live stream. What games do you like to play? Well, this would be one such example. I play a lot of Monster Hunter. I like RPGs, not in the traditional sense, but in the modern sense. So, not necessarily very traditional RPGs, but this sort of game. I like it. Japanese RPG, I guess. I don't want to say JRPG because that's a little different. Like, you wouldn't look at this and say JRPG. This is not a JRPG, but... Oh, God. You can hear Slan's dual blades. They're very noisy. Fucking hell. Very quick hunt. No time at all. No time at all. I'm not new when it comes to streaming. When it comes to streaming, I've only been streaming since 2019, but as far as video content creation is concerned, I've been going since 2009. In other words, playing video games and talking while playing video games. I was a latecomer to the Let's Play scene, although I used to watch Let's Plays back in the older days when it originated on the Something Awful forums and sort of spilled out onto YouTube and, yeah, eventually started in 2009, and I found that there was really only about a year's worth of life left in the Let's Playing format before it fell off a cliff and died. And, yeah. Eventually decided to do live streaming once I had the internet to support it. Because in Australia, and I'm sure the meme still exists, we have terrible internet. So, streaming was not an option for me back then. So, yeah, I got into it quite late. But I still... I do not at all appreciate the title of streamer, or the job description. We shouldn't say job description. I do this as a hobby, not as a profession. But still, I don't like being called a streamer. It doesn't feel quite right. I record in the same way that I would record a non-live video, but while live. That's why it feels weird to refer to it as streaming. Which is to say, I would just as easily provide commentary talking to myself, rather than just reading chat interaction and have that create conversation. That's just how I am. It's because I spent so long talking to myself in a Let's Play format that I don't require chat interaction. What that does is it creates a different level of presentation. It's not quite along the lines of what a streamer would typically do. It doesn't necessarily set me on a higher... It doesn't put me in better stead than streamers, except for the fact that I don't need an audience in order to have a product. Some streamers struggle with that. They don't know how to literally create conversation themselves, but again, that's all I used to do. That was literally it. So, in that sense, yes, I have an advantage, but that's probably about it. No, I think... No, we didn't have a hunting horn user, so I will use a hunting horn. Ukanlos Horned Flute. What do you mean? If you don't mind me asking something, you've asked a few things already, so the best thing to do is to ask the question, and then I'll figure out if I want to answer it or not. I will actually have to refamiliarize myself with the songs of this hunting horn. Because I don't know them at this stage. Let me... hold on. What did we roll? We got Black Diablos, right. That's why I'm using a nice weapon. We'll just do single Black Diablos. I don't need to subject myself or anyone else to the Black Phalanges right now. I'm not interested in that. Most used weapon in this game. Let's find out. It is... light bowgun. I really should have a flat guild card here. I used to have it, but I lost progress in this game quite a lot, so... Now, I no longer have a flat guild card, but I'm working towards it. Light bowgun, followed by gunlance, and then greatsword. Gunlance being second most is really not reflective of my current usage of gunlance. I had a lot of uses of gunlance in the offline. I enjoyed the wyvern fire damage and the mobility of the forward advance, and so I used it almost exclusively during low rank. So I ended up with a lot of weapon uses for that. I don't use gunlance all that often, as I'm sure you can see. I'll be back in a moment. I need to visit the bathroom. I'm back. Yes, the copious consumption of liquid might account for that. Smart one. Alright. Now. My patient team awaits. Oh yeah. No, I'm sure I'll work out what my songs are as I hunt. So I think this horn definitely has attack increase, but does it have stamina increase? It probably wouldn't, would it? It's probably defense and attack, and I'm sure I can work it out. What drink is that? It is stout. It is a type of beer. I may as well start with self-improvement. Spooky hunting horn. Oh, get a life. Seriously. Like, what is the point, my friend? I shouldn't do it the courtesy of referring to it as my friend. If it could be described as a courtesy, I don't think it's expected. Alright. Onward to Diablos of the black variant. Alright. Let's try to figure out the songs. What's this going to be? Don't hit me out of this. Could have guessed. Could have guessed. Yeah, shut up. I think this is my attacker. No, it's fucking not. Hold it. Well, we've got health recovery. What else have we got? Yeah, that's definitely a type. No, not that way. I'll see if this goes into something different. I know this works for some songs. Or some horns. Aha. That's good. No, not that. The other way. Sorry, I'm out of practice with hunting horn, you'll have to forgive me. Alright, so we've got our attack and defense. That'll do for now. Let's properly contribute now. I thought I got an immediate KO there. That would have been very funny. Show my stats? What do you mean my stats? Enjoy them. So strong. Oh, did you want to see what my attack was after the fact? It's very high, isn't it? It's good. The thing is, those inflated values make it look so strong, so incredibly strong, but really not. Like, I'm sure it's okay. It's just motion values are really the most important thing, and yeah. Even if the number looks so high, your effectiveness may not perfectly align with that very large number. Whoa! I felt as if I were under attack in that moment. Fortunately, I was not. It was just a travelling Diablos. I had best carve that tail. I don't know what Ishar was pinging for. Everyone was heading in that direction. I think we all knew where the monster was, but he still felt that it was appropriate to ping. I went back to carve. Maybe he was trying to assert the fact that the monster was in that direction to me because I had turned away. Which would be funny and unnecessary. Well, I think the damage dealt has been very high. Because Diablos has gone into that area rather than here. Could possibly mean that he's already weak. You never know. Does anyone have sonic bombs? Sonic bombs? Apparently not. He usually pings randomly when I play with him. Or when you play with him. Fair enough. Some people just communicate weirdly with their pings. No! Well, we've got Diablos in the wall. A lot of people pinging for something. I don't really know what. At this stage, I want to prioritize the boost that I'm giving to the team. I'm not so worried that I lack self-improvement. In other words, ESP. Right now, I just want to boost the team. I will now work on ESP. Well, I would have certainly been hit if the tail had not been severed already. The benefits of high-grade earplugs. Now, I would tell you that some people would probably make hunting horn sets without raw resistance, because they would think to themselves, well, what if I have a hunting horn that grants the ability to resist roars? Well, let me tell you one thing. I would not bother investing in that kind of hunting horn. Was that a ping to capture? Because someone pinged just before this monster died, so that could have been a ping to capture. Hopefully not. But anyway, yeah, I don't use raw resistant hunting horns because they're usually useless. Usually that ends up being a replacement skill for something like attack or stamina recovery skills. Having a mega juice effect on a hunting horn or having increased attack is a lot more useful than a hearing song, in my opinion. So I incorporate raw resistance into my loadout because that is what is most complementing for the horns that I use. Poke. That's why we had a delayed quest complete. Ishar was having connectivity issues. I will continue this live stream until my beer is gone. We are at 2 hours and 31 minutes at this stage. That's a good blood stain. Well, blood spatter, I guess we could say. So Wonderlord, in second generation, the thrusting attack with the hunting horn does not deal cutting damage. What? FU complete gives... Oh, that's pathetic. I told Incognito Man, not that he should listen to me specifically, but I told him not to fucking add shit like that. Anyway, I'm fair. Yeah, if he's adding things like that, if he has chosen to add cutting damage to poking with a hunting horn, I think he's well and truly crossed the line when it comes to creating a balanced mod for the game. But, whatever. No, my version wouldn't have it. I'm sure that's something he added later. And I'm completely against it. But anyway, it was not until Portable Third that thrusting with a hunting horn actually did cutting damage. How do you know that I have 1.2? Because I... Actually, I do, yeah. I do have 1.2. How did you see that? Mine is version 1.2.1. I definitely didn't say it. Because I've never checked. What I would have said is that I had the original version. Which probably was not the original. Because I'm sure there would have been a 1.0 and a 1.1. So, maybe I was late to the party. Alright, let's do some random hunt. Quest spinning. Really? What's that? Is that just single Hypnoc? Is there actually a single Hypnoc quest? That's really uninteresting. Let's stop using the word boring. I've used that way too many times in this recording. Hello, hey Marty. Well, I don't mind doing double Hypnoc. I'm not actually going to do single, that's pathetic. Hold on, it's here, I think. There we go. So, is that true? Yeah, the big dirt nap. Why the hell is that even in the list? That's terrible. Why would anyone want to do that? Can't say I've used a sword and shield on a... Oh, no actually. I've used a sword and shield on a Hypnoc very recently. In this recording, in fact. How forgetful I can be at times. I haven't used a sword and shield on a Hypnoc in... well, about an hour, actually. I am full. At least as far as I'm aware. Let's have a look. I don't know how I'm going to figure that out. I suppose by seeing if everyone who was previously in the room joins back. Oh. Well, that is a fox enjoying a lot of attention. Goodness gracious. Yeah. That fox is enjoying that. Honestly, your meme contributions are pretty much in line with your written contributions. The GIF is still going, by the way, and this fox is just having the time of its life. Absolutely. Very cute. Well, I'm not actually seeing a fourth person join. I'm tempted to tell Xeno that she can join. I have informed her. Yes, she. Oh, I've wasted her time. Sorry. And it looks like my phone is shutting down. Alright. Let's go. It just seemed like enough time had passed for me to assume that that fourth person wasn't coming, but... oh well. I was wrong. Alright. Double Hypnoc. So this is the quest that you actually do to enter G-Rank. It's the first G-Rank quest that Hunter will embark upon in this game. Oh, for goodness sake. Yeah, those tail swings are my least favourite thing about this monster. But I suppose it's not all that different to, say, a Rathian or a Rathalos, so... yeah. As I recall, there are 3 different colours of Hypnoc in Frontier. Don't remember them all. Thanks, mate. I wish that they had brought Espionus into this game, but do you know what? I can't imagine Espionus being in this game either. Espionus is so different to almost every other monster that I can't imagine him. I can imagine Espionus being a special tier quest. You upswing me one more time and I will literally recreate your physical body. Like I will restructure your very being. I don't know what that means specifically. Has something to do with fucking pummeling the guy. Something to do with that. Oh. But yeah, my phone's dead, so I'm not monitoring the chat right now. I probably could monitor the chat if I really, really wanted to. And I may do so. But for now, I'm hunting. This hunt is not going to take much longer. This is almost done. It's almost over. I'm going to drink a potion, because that is the most sensible course of action. I'm sleepy. And I just got immediately slept again. Thank you, Luna. I appreciate that. I don't know whether to call you Tifa, Luna. I don't know. Get a consistent name would be nice. Something that I can actually attach to who you are as a form of identity. Anyway. Why isn't this thing dead? Okay. Couldn't even finish the sentence, which is a good thing. I'm glad. It's almost not even a G rank quest, is it? It's so simple. So easy to complete. How dare you? Well, I can see that you're trying to speed up my carving. Let me go and carve the other one. Not that I need Hypnoc stuff, it's just that I'm a bit of a hoarder. That's the way I operate. Thank you, Yara Tubbs. You say that as if you've just arrived and have already decided to leave. Anyway. That's a lot of blood. I'll do one more hunt. It's almost no money at all. It's pathetic. Alright. There goes my controller. Ah! Come back, controller. Goodness sake. That's the sound of a controller being reconnected because it disconnected after I dropped it. Alright, so let's check the random hunt. I'm sorry, but can we just have a moment of silence? Not a moment of silence, just a moment of contemplation. You know, how could it possibly... I wish that I had caught it on camera. I have 1 minute left on my random hunt cooldown. Okay, so I did a random hunt. This is very important. Let me just figure out when I did my last random hunt. It must have been quite some time ago. I don't know when I did it, but essentially it was within a reasonable time frame where a group of 4 people could kill 2 Hypnocs. Very easy to do. Very easy quest. And yet, it's still not cooled down yet. It's shocking. Yes, it's very cute. This here, very cute. Just lovely. Now, apparently, yeah, great reroll, mate. Congalala. I'm going to pretend that that's invalid. Hold on, this is an important fucking... This is so important. This is unbelievable. Look at it. This fucking thing is memeing me. This pathetic, poorly thought out, and entirely shit system on Hunsterverse is trolling me. Absolute garbage. What have we got? Predators of the Swamp. Emerald Congalala, Purple Gypsaros, and Kezu. I can work with that. That is something as opposed to nothing. For fuck's sake. Alright. Zach might be watching. I've lambasted that guy on numerous occasions about the fucking random quest system. That is the biggest blowout on Hunsterverse. The random hunt system and the way it's designed is an absolute failure. Like, it is pathetic. It is woeful and embarrassing. And I've said that numerous times. In his presence. It's terrible. It's actually a waste. Alright. What am I doing? What would make this fun? I'm tempted to use a gun of some kind. Something ranged would be fun. But, do you know what? Normal heavy bowgun. Now that's fun. That's a lot of fun. That is the definition of fun. Some people don't appreciate normal heavy bowgun, but I happen to do so. The set is not complete. I do need to reallocate a flying jewel somewhere or other. I don't know where the hell it's gonna come from. Blango vest? No. I'll find it somewhere. Here we go, Gravios vest. That's it. I'm supposed to memorize that, apparently. Fat fucking chance. Alright, my set is now complete. Let's go. Shoot some normal shots. Sorry, it's me knocking my glass on my cable. Now, what's the name of this quest? It is Predators of the Swamp. Sounds dangerous. Does it have a different name in my game versus what is written there? Or is it a... Oh, hold on. It might actually be an epic hunting quest. It's probably here. Well, hold on. There it is. It's an epic hunting quest. Very good. Let's get my ammunition on the go. Am I going to keep whetstones despite using a gun? Yes. Why? Well, it's because I will forget to put them back in my inventory if I remove them. That is the point. Is it an embarrassing admission? Yes. But I'm also quite used to that embarrassment at this point. Yes, I am talking to myself. No, I'm talking to all of you, of course. Of course I'm talking to all of you. I must do so. It's part of the entertainment, of course. Well, I'm out of beer. That's why this is the last hunt. Let us refamiliarize ourselves with the monsters. Emerald Congalala, Purple Gypsaros, and Kezu. It's actually an interesting lineup. I don't mind that at all. That's good fun. What are you doing in my swamp? Sort of a mixture of, I don't know, Scottish and American. But, that's about how he sounds. I think. That's my memory of it. I haven't watched Shrek in a very long time. Not since I was a child. Although I watched it many times. Stop it. I just tested something out. I did that intentionally. I walked into the poison cloud to see if that lingering poison cloud would in fact poison me. Turns out that it does not, which is good news. But, you see, I recognized that as a danger, but proceeded. Right, let's kill this green monkey. Hold on, let me beacon as well. I beaconed. I'm involved with the hunt. Let's destroy his hairdo. See that hairdo? My mission is to destroy it. To break it. To make it so that he has no hairdo any longer. It's a noble goal. Oh fuck. That looked quite dangerous, but I was okay in the end. Well, I need to go to some trouble to reposition here. He fell forward, which is bad for my critical distance. There we go. I managed to destroy his haircut just before he died, which is excellent. It's good news. It's hard to see his destroyed haircut, but suffice it to say, it's gone from looking like... I don't know. I don't even know what that would look like. Well, it looks like a bird's nest now. Looks like some sort of avian creature would, you know, quite appropriately lay an egg on it. Right, do we hang out here? Purple gypsy probably. Excellent. Attack more powerful. Everyone's pinging about something, I will join in. As silly as it looks, this is literally communication in Freedom Unite. A ping can mean many different things. So many intentions and emotions can be communicated through a ping. A signal, a beacon, so many words to describe so many emotions. Really, it is a language in and of itself. Heartwarming, to say the least. Let's not invite the risk of being poisoned. Oh my god. Well, this has been a very effective beating of this gypsy. It couldn't be dead already. Are you fucking kidding? How do you guys figure out that it's dead or not? How do you just know that it's dead? What's the indication? How do you know? Can you smell it through the screen or what? How did they know that that wasn't a fake death? I have to be informed of this. What subtle indication is present to inform them that that is a dead monster, as opposed to one faking death? That's unbelievable. This has eluded me for the entirety of my Monster Hunter career, and yet these people seem to have it down pat. His little stone will flicker. I don't know if he was enraged or not. Also, welcome back, Peepo. It's our friend, Kezu. Our friend. Here he is. Get out of that. He is especially disgusting in second generation, don't you think? I mean, there's technically less details for him, but the nature of the textures makes him more disgusting. He's so shiny, in 4th generation. It's just unrealistic. It looks silly. This looks more leathery. And really, I just rolled into that. That's pathetic. And embarrassing. Anyway, he doesn't look... He looks gross in a different way, I suppose. The idea that he would be shiny is off-putting. But still... He looks more convincingly disgusting in 2nd generation. You should see him in DOS, oh my god. Well, he looks about the same as he does in 1 and G. I just mean that the texture quality is better. Here we go. He's about to kick the bucket. I'm trying to negotiate the hunting horn user here. I'm sure I contributed in some way or another. Here we go. I will ping as well. I have a lot to say. I just communicated the entirety of War and Peace by Tolstoy with that ping. How you could pick up all the details, I don't know. But that's what I intended to get across, okay? No, I'm not doing that, Mina. Sorry. As tempting as it is, I will not be doing that. I mean, it is like the devil's temptation. That is exactly what I would normally do. But for some reason, I feel like I shouldn't do it. I feel like I don't want to do it. And I can't precisely explain why, but for some reason, I don't feel like debasing myself while live. That's a really funny ending screen, and I'm going to screenshot that. I suppose it's the poison effect. It's quite silly looking. Anyway, that is the live stream. I hope you all enjoyed. This was intended to be a Freedom 1 live stream. It did not end up being that. I cannot be blamed. Circumstances just did not manifest in a favourable way. I will see you all when I'm next live, and I thank all of these hunters for joining me on the journey of doing a live stream. I will see you all next time. Bye bye for now.